All right. Our talk, the next 25 minutes, is around Microsoft Teams and how we see it as the hub for teamwork and as a platform for Power Apps. Who are we? My name is Thomas Gölles. I'm a Microsoft Office Development MVP and currently the team lead for Modern Workplace Solutions at Solvion. And with me, and I'm just out of time, I will just introduce Stephan by myself this day. Stephan, normally we sit in the same office, desk by desk, but for the last, 13 months or 16 months, something, all virtual, even though he just is like 10 kilometers away. We do a bunch of community stuff that is this ego part of the slide down there with all our certificates. And Stephan has a great book and we have podcasts and YouTube channels. Just take the slide because we will publish it. And if you find time and have a question, just ask us about the stuff in whatever shape or form you choose with these connections down there. Okay, let's go into the topic. Where we are, here are we. Yep. So, hello. Let's have a look at what is possible or what's the deal with Teams. And of course, in Teams, we have a lot of ready-to-use applications, all those Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, we all know. And then there are, quite a bunch already out there. I think it's now 800 plus applications in the partner store, in the App Store with Teams, where you can also create applications. This slide is more oriented to give you an idea what Teams as a platform is. Later on, we will talk specifically what it means for the Power Platform. But just to give you an idea, Trello, GitHub, Adobe, Poly, Jira, all those, or the Atlassian guys, all those companies already have connections, tabs, bots inside of Teams. And of course, Microsoft is also looking for solutions organizational based so that you as a developer or as a consultant for your customer create and deploy solutions in the realm, in the tenant only of your customer and not for the broader, what is now 140 million users, daily active users in Teams that might potentially be available to your application through the store. What tool set is Microsoft offering for Teams? You see down there in this area, of course, bot framework, web technologies, SharePoint framework, and we will focus today what you can do with those tools here. So with Power Apps, with Power Automate, with Forms, and with Power BI. And Stephan will make a short introduction to the bot framework composer, because we know there is this PVA way of creating bots, but we think that might be also of interest to see how far you can get with a bot framework composer without the need to write code. So we're focusing today for everything, not a single line of code needed. All the focus is what we can achieve with just configuration and the tools in hand. In terms of Teams, what options do we have and what can we extend in Teams? In general, we could create tabs. Those are those nice tabs inside of a team or as a static tab for you as a person. And all those things here, I think with the exception of connectors and webhooks, you could do that with a flow, but you would need a premium license for that. And notifications, the new notification API is just a webhook at the moment, so you would also need the higher license. But for anything else here, you can also use Power Platform to achieve the same thing as others might do with code. So you can create experiences with a Power App as a tab. We will show you in a later demo how you can create a pizza ordering system with a simple Power App. Stephan will talk mostly about bots because he is an AI guy and conversational AI is his specific topic he's focusing his work around. We will have a look at messaging, actions and extensions, how you can have a reminder for a message just with a flow button. And then of course, task modules, how you can get input from your end users to really create those use cases that add value and go a little bit deeper than just like, okay, Hello World example to show off the technology, more like, okay, what can we really put on the table as added value for our customers? And of course, for Microsoft, it's very important that you have the option as an enterprise developer to create all those experiences with Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code as well. But again, not the focus of today. And a nice way, yeah, of what is the idea or the main reason, argument why we also believe that the Teams is so interesting for users. It's just that you eliminate context switching. That's like a double-edged sword, I think, is the perfect English explanation, because at once we try to push everything inside this one team client, all third-party systems, all our approvals, all our recommendations, all our news should pop up here in this nice overview. And if we managed to put all the information in there, immediately the day after we think about, oh, wait a second, that's way too much information. How can we organize that? How can we put notification systems in there, or filtering and all those things you need as soon as you start getting, I don't know, 50, 20, or 20, 50, 100 notifications a day. So a double-edged sword for us. Teams, very, very cool, because it reduces the context switching. It lets the user in the focus. You don't need to switch to different systems. On the other hand, you need to solve the problem of information overload. And that's also a big part of the user adoption part of Teams, to make sure that your people are trained and, yeah, encouraged to use all the possible ways and tricks in Teams to make their lives easier. Then, of course, those kind of applications that is now scrolling through in this little GIF here, where the idea is more or less that you have a conversation, and at some point you decide that you, for example, need to save this conversation to follow up in an hour or in a day, or to create a task, for example. One use case where you need this task modules, this pop-up window here, to grab data. Another idea is that maybe in this little message here, in this channel conversation, someone is talking about a project and there's a project ID there, and you realize, okay, I need a work structure item in another system. Why not just click on a button there? The form reads out the message that's in there, reacts on what's in this message, like as said, the project number, pre-fills the form, you click the button and you send out data to another system. So for us, the really benefit of Teams is as soon as we step out of it, meaning we integrate other systems. But because what is very clear for us is that whatever you define as your modern, so to speak, workplace, it's not only Microsoft software. That's really clear for us. That's maybe not so clear for someone from Microsoft, but just we are a company with 50 people. We have a different time tracking software. We have an age-old ERP system. We have a different ordering software. We need to adopt, yeah, and connect to other parts in our IT landscape, and that's where the place where we think that Teams really adds value on top of all the great things you can achieve with better communication and better collaboration inside of Teams. Getting this third-party integration in there in the customer's landscape, and not only with those big software as a service applications that are available through the App Store down here, but more like hand-tailored to the needs for the customers. That's where the really interesting part for Teams is for our understanding. Okay, and then, yeah, maybe just for reference, of course, you can also integrate with Teams in a Teams meeting since a couple of months. So you see here, just the person adding the Asana app inside of Teams, and then you have in a meeting, when you look now at this meeting we're running right now, you have this tab on the side with a chat and participant lists, and this space basically can also be used by your app. I'm not 100% sure if it's already possible also with Power Platform. Just for reference, that's also an idea. Okay, how can we make meetings more engageable? But with that, let's stop PowerPoint and let's go back to the demo. Actually, I will change my layout a little bit here. Here we are. First small thing. I'm here in a team, in my browser in Teams web application, and I want to show you just the idea of, okay, we have a form out there, and this form basically is a little bit of a governance use case. If you think of big teams with multiple, let's say 200, 300 users, you might not want that everyone is capable of creating a channel on his or her own. So we need to provide a form for that and to have an approval request for that. Let's make it a little bit funny because that's a very short period of time, right? Test data, I will submit that form now as, in my case, I'm thinking I'm Wayne Scott here in that demo environment. Yep, that's true. And the demo environment, of course, is a little bit connected to its own because you see here, Wayne Scott sent you a request for approval. So we have an integration of this approval because behind this form, there is a flow that reacts on every time this form is submitted. It does two things. First, it sends me an email. So you see here, I get an approval request. And because we are using Power Automate to create these approvals, and we are also connected these approvals to Teams, we don't only get these buttons here, but we also, since a couple of months, get these approval requests inside of Teams. So a little bit silly use case because I'm Wayne Scott now asking Wayne Scott to approve something, but that's just demo data. And it's easier instead of switching and flipping between clients. I will approve this now. And you see, we tried a little bit, then okay, final status approved. If I go back to my team, I have now here a new channel. So it's very simple because if I show you the flow for that, that's all we do. Get the data from the form, get the response details. In that case, we could ask also for a user profile to get maybe the team lead or the manager. Start with the approval. If the approval goes through, we create a channel and we post a message. That's it, pretty easy. And just to give you an idea what is possible with Teams here, if I just search for Teams in the template gallery, you see what's already out there from a Microsoft perspective, from a template perspective, from a community perspective, what people think might be interesting just for flow for Teams. And this is one example would be like, okay, a tab, because that's the tab here, integration of the form, fill it out, talk to Flow, and Flow then, of course, could not only create this channel, we could add members, we could create even teams, so we can go deeper, but this is just one example. Another example for something that might be interesting, not the particular use case, but the idea behind it. I have a flow here that sends me the daily deal bird every single day. How do I get the data? Again, let's go back to my flows here. Daily deal bird, edit mode. Actually, I'm polling an RSS feed because there is an RSS feed out there in the internet that gives, I think, the last 5 or 10, not so sure anymore because it's a little bit older, but it gives the latest Dilberts in terms of an image URL. And I'm just making my call every, I think, morning, something 10 or 11 in the morning, recurrent flow task, getting some variable setup, grab the RSS feed. If I get something back, I'm posting the message as a flow bot and I get my data in here. That's a funny use case for the demo, but that's a very interesting use case if you think of a production line or if you think of another system that maybe creates data that your team members or your crew needs to check on a regular basis. So you just make sure that this data from whatever third-party system is just manageable and consumable inside of Teams in its own channel. And if we would wait now for tomorrow, that time frame, we will get here a bold indicator that there is a new message in here. And The last one from my side is that with Flow, we also can maybe act on top of such a message. We have this here. And you see here, follow up on a message. This follow up on a message is also a flow that I just created. And it's very easy. It's actually for a selected message. It makes a delay, and then it posts me adaptive card as the flowbot. So if I click now on that button, let me check here. I think the question would be, when should it, when should I be reminded? Meaning, how long is the delay? If I click now 20 minutes, submit, then the flow will start. Initial variable would be 20 minutes. So it will create an instance of the flow with this parameter and would wait for 20 minutes. And then it would remind me of the task through just a chat message. But this is just one example. Of course, there are others out there where you don't delay a workflow. Maybe it makes more sense to create a task, to post to a SharePoint list, to post to do, whatever makes sense for you. And that's an interesting and a quick helper. Coming back to the intro where I said something like, okay, we need a way to manage the information overload. And for me, from my personal view, we all know this. We can, of course, go in there and make or mark a message as unread. And in terms of, okay, I just had a short glimpse on the information and mark it as unread, and I come back afterwards. And for me, this feels a little bit wrong to mark something unread because I already read it. It's just like, okay, I want to take my action on it in a day or in 2 days. So we actually, or Stephan, to be precise, created a bot for that. It does the very same thing. A couple of, I think 2 years already with this task or create tasks down here. And in the meantime, you can just create this also with Flow, just an entry point introduction into the realm of Power Apps. Click there, create something, create your own logic, and then reach out to the end user in Teams again. With that, Stephan, I would love to hand it over to you to give you the rest of the time.
Thanks, Thomy. So let me just quickly share my screen. Get rid of the Teams window here. So basically what we are seeing here is the same as what we've seen before. The Teams client with our user. And now in there, we've kind of discussed this a couple of months ago already, how to build an end-to-end demo environment, demoing stuff using, let's say, more or less the awesome features Microsoft 365 provides. So we thought about why not basically having a virtual or imaginable pizza factory. So we basically are a pizza restaurant or pizza factory, and we wanted to automate and we wanted to create more or less some of the processes a pizza factory runs through in their day-to-day business using Microsoft 365 tools. And so the first one, to stay in that context of the Power Platform, I guess every one of you might know this. Back in the days when we used to work in the office buildings of our employees, we basically had the challenge of every day getting something for lunch. So either you would go to the supermarket, or you had the canteen within your office building, or you would basically meet up with some coworkers to go to a restaurant, or have some kind of delivery service where you basically pick and choose the favorite dish you want to have for lunch and get that delivered. And so a lot of companies actually they provide that as a service, and we thought about why not providing that specific let's say meal ordering or lunch ordering service as a really simple Power App. So what we have done basically is we created that Luigi's Family Pizzeria Power App, which basically represents our pizza factory. And in there, what you'll see, basically, you have a lot of options to show either today's menu, so you can click through what's basically offered today, and as you see, you'll get redirected to the official Pizza Factory website, because that might change from time to time. You can basically show your very own orders if you have some. So I'm pretty sure we already created some orders with that user account already today. So we can basically track our own orders, or go back and show all orders if we basically switch views and imagine that we are now in the let's say brain of the Pizza Factory employee. So the waiter or whoever runs the Pizza Factory has a certain view on all orders, and he can basically have that PowerUp running on his smartphone, checking all the orders while on the go, and seeing, okay, I need to pick up this, I need to pick up that. This dish or this lunch is already been prepared by the kitchen, so I can take that out and stuff like that. So basically serving both sides, the end customer as well as the employee, with the same app. And in there, we also have some nitty-gritty features like scanning an order. So the idea was that if you have like a barcode or a QR code placed somewhere, you can basically use the PowerUp on your mobile phone, scan it, and then place the order for you. But in the respect to the time, I'll just quickly go ahead and create new orders. So I will use the new orders view. I'll see here everything which is available to me today. So all the pizzas which can be ordered today. I would go ahead, create a pizza prosciutto. I want 2 of them, click on order. And what basically is running in the background now is a Power Automate flow again, populating a very simple SharePoint list for us with the orders. So we have another tab in there in that specific team where every order, and this is my order, unfortunately in German, it says a couple of seconds ago. And this is basically what I've ordered now, 2 times pizza prosciutto. So really, really simple example where you basically can build a PowerUp, build a very beautiful front end in a couple of hours without the need of writing code, actually. And then you can basically think about going one step further, because if you run a pizza factory, and this is just an imaginable use case, but if you run a specific service, a specific solution, you might already have that kind of solution available somewhere. So that's what we have as well, because we already are running our pizza factory out there with all the ERP system in the back end. So we already have a system for tracking orders. We already have a system for tracking if, let's say, all the ingredients are in stock, or if something has to be restocked right now. We already have that system maintaining the different orders which have been placed and which are basically prepared in the kitchen. So we already have that. And we thought about how could we potentially integrate that third-party service, which has nothing to do with Microsoft 365, into the Microsoft 365 respective teams world. And so we thought about why not creating a bot for instance, for employees in Teams to order pizza. So we did that. And basically, what you could do is use Power Virtual Agents for that. We have done it using the bot framework Composer, which I could show you in a little bit, which is the kind of similar concept. So you don't need to write code to build a bot. You can do it using a graphical user interface. So you don't need to be a hardcore developer. The only difference between Power Virtual Agent and bot framework Composer is that Power Virtual Agent basically is a SaaS application. So you pay the license for that, and you only get to use what PVA offers you, whereas bot framework Composer is more or less the PaaS, or platform as a service type of application, which you can extend to fit your needs. So more open, more broader, but in turn, you need to be, or you need to at least have a development background if you want to extend what Composer already offers you out of the box. So In here, I'll just quickly go back to the third-party system, clear the order table, so we have no orders in there as of now. And then I would go ahead and I just have that team spot open, and I would say I want to order a pizza Hawaii because I know Thomy likes pineapples on his pizza.
And we're not discussing that. That's just a pure fact that it belongs in a pizza.
Yeah. And so what we are basically seeing right now is I just have that sentence in there, and the bot will actually use natural language understanding to understand my intent. My intent is clearly to order something, and it will also understand that the type of pizza I want to order is Hawaii, because this has been recognized by my natural language model and will be then handed over to my bot. So what we also see right now is I need to log in, which is kind of weird because I'm already logged in Teams, and we have not had the time to implement single sign-on yet because of the fact that it's been released a couple of days ago, GA. So hope, yep, now it's working. So I've been logged into the bot as well. So the bot actually knows who I am. And then we'll say, okay, no problem, sure thing, I ordered the pizza Hawaii for you. And why do I need to log in? Because if we look back in our third-party system, it says not only I've ordered the pizza Hawaii today, but it will also say who ordered that pizza Hawaii. So we can take actions on that. And with the use of single sign-on, if you want to implement that, you basically, or users don't basically need to re-log in because they're already logged in into Teams, and you can basically hand over that authentication token to the bot, saying this is the user, this user has ordered that, and then you can follow up on that. And if you would have more time, I could show you things like posting proactive notifications. So if anything in the stock runs out, no pineapples anymore, we see that notification on the right-hand side. The bot would be able to post that information again into Teams proactively, notifying, for instance, Thomy if he would be available or if he would be responsible for restocking. Hey, someone ordered the pizza Hawaii, but we don't have pineapples anymore, so you would not need to go to the supermarket to grab some pineapples, so we can deliver that order. And that's basically the bot is basically the glue between the end user in Teams and a third-party system. It doesn't have to be, but it could be a third-party system which runs completely outside of the scope of Microsoft 365. And you could achieve the same thing using PVA or using Bot Framework Composer. And if you don't want to build a bot, you can basically do a PowerUp and Power Automate to achieve the same results without that conversational aspect. So many different approaches how you could integrate certain information into Teams using the tool set of the Power Platform, may that be Power Apps, Power Automate, PVA, or stuff like that. And I guess we're already over time, so
yep. Respective time, just one addition. Of course, the pizza thing is more like a real demo use case because everyone knows what ingredients you need for pizza, and everyone knows that you need stuff and a supply chain for that. That's just our demo environment, and we see that that really relates with customers that maybe run a factory or something like that. They probably already have some logics or some components in their environment that make notification, but just surfacing that also in Teams makes so much sense for people that stay in Teams for, let's say, 6 to 8 hours a day.
And we all know that pineapples shouldn't be on a pizza.
Every time.